All right, carb cycling, eating guide, the fastest way to get ripped, staying strong, building muscle. So what is carb cycling? It is a great way to sustain long-term results, okay? And it's much easier than, say, a low-carb diet where you're always on a low carb. It's hard to sustain low carb. You get exhausted and your energy gets depleted very easily. So this carb cycling is a great way for athletes and fitness enthusiasts and fitness models and fitness pros and anybody who wants to get in serious shape. It helps them take their body to 10 levels higher. What happens is usually right before a competition, an athlete might do this to who wants to build more muscle, or maybe a fitness model who wants to really cut down on the fat. It's matched in with your activity level. Usually when a bodybuilder is trying to lose extra fat, he or she will add more activity to their workout, and then they can tweak their eating to adjust. And we're going to talk about, anybody can do this. It's not just for fitness pros, it's for anybody who's looking to cut down on some fat, okay? So let me tell you about how it works, okay? And then you can it'll make more sense as we go along, okay? So to first understand carb cycling, we want to talk about the macronutrients. We got your proteins, we got our fats, we got our veggies, and we got our fruit. Okay, so protein would be things like lean beef, lean chicken, pork, turkey, eggs, fish, or you could do meat alternatives, tofu, things like that. And then you got your fats, almonds, Brazils, cashews, chestnuts, hazelnuts, macadamia nuts, pecans. You got your nut butters, pistachios, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. You can choose from any of these. These are healthy fats, and they should be in anyone's diet. Try to go for the organic if you can. The best butters are almond, sesame, macadamia, nut butter. Okay. Then you got your veggies. Okay. These are also known as your fibrous carbohydrates, and you can have as much fibrous carbohydrates as you want. That's the great thing about fibrous carbs, is they can really help you stay full, and it's really unlimited. You can really eat tons of it and not really worry about getting too many calories. So things like asparagus, beet greens, bell peppers, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, squash, spinach, lettuce, cucumber, celery, cauliflower. Just a caveat here, the carrots do tend to be a little sugary, so maybe don't go overboard on the carrots, but anything green, you can do whatever you want, okay? You can go as much as you want. And then you got your fruits, okay? You can choose from any of these fruits, and then you can choose from any of these starches. These starches are your starchy carbohydrates. White potato, sweet potato, tapioca pudding, yams, there's some also should be included in here is whole grain rice, quinoa, some of those ancient grains, barley, and anything that's like a whole grain would be there as well, okay? White potatoes, if you have cold white potatoes, they release a little slower than hot white potatoes, so that's good as well. It's always nice to have a slow release carbohydrate if you can. So those are your main macros, okay? So you just pick and choose the ones you like, okay? It makes it real easy. And when we talk about picking and choosing for serving size, we're going to talk about the size of your fist. Your fist is built for your body. So just look at your fist, and that's how much you should be having for one serving, okay? If you got a big hand, you have more. If you have a smaller hand, you have less. Okay, so how does it work? Okay, well, this is how it works. We've broken it down into 3 types of days. We got your low carb day, you got your high carb day, and you got your high carb day. Low, medium, and high, okay? And low carb day will be on days you do one boot camp workout or rest day. So if you're not working out or you're just doing one boot camp workout, then you're going to have that's a low carb day. If you have if your activity level is a little higher, where if you have a boot camp workout in the morning and then you do some 10-minute or 15-minute interval, high intensity interval training later in the evening, then that would be a medium carb day. Or you could do your HIIT training in the morning at 6 a.m. and then you could do your boot camp workout in the evening. Okay, you can mix and match. It doesn't matter, but long as there's 2 workouts, you can go for a medium carb workout, okay? And then the high carb workout would be something where you do your boot camp workout and you do 1 hour steady state cardio. And that steady state cardio could be usually like something where your heart rate's constant, you're constantly moving, like a very fast walk up a hill or a very fast walk, or biking for an hour, or jogging for an hour, or swimming for an hour, or skipping for an hour, something you're doing just a constant cardio, okay, for an hour. So for example, you would do your running in the morning and then your boot camp workout in the evening. That would allow you to do a high carb day, okay? Now, how many days should you have of each? Well, it's up to you. It depends on your activity, because if we go back and look at the video previously, it depends on how much activity you think you need. So for example, a person who just starting out might only need 3 boot camp workouts and sorry, let me restate that. A beginner might want to start with 4 boot camp workouts and then 1 high intensity interval training. Okay. If you're not sure, go back and watch that video and it'll tell you exactly how much activity you should be doing. It's from last week for those of you in the group. Yeah. So like someone who's been working out a while and needs and has a couple steady state cardio days and mixed in with their boot camp, then you'd be looking at more high carb days. So it depends on your activity level. So if you're a beginner, then you're probably only going to do 4 boot camp workouts and 1 high intensity interval training workout. Then you're probably going to have like 4 low carb days and a medium carb day, and then the other days are resting. So you'll just be low carb. So you'll have for example, you'll have 6 low carb days and then 1 medium carb day. Okay. Or if you're like, maybe like you're not quite the beginner anymore, you've been working out for a few months now, and you determined that you should be doing 4 boot camp workouts and then a couple high intensity training workouts a week, then maybe you'll have like 3 medium days and 3 low carb days. Okay. But a beginner can also have a high carb day as well. So it really all depends on your workout. So there's nothing wrong with doing, say, if you're like a flat out beginner, you're just starting out, if you had you could do 3 boot camp workouts, and then 2 of those days you could also do a high intensity and a cardio, okay? And then you could have 4 rest days. So for example, it would be, you do 1 low carb, you'd have 4 low carb days, you'd have 1 medium carb day, and you would have 1 high carb day. So that would be good for a beginner, okay? If you're intermediate, you could do maybe 3 low carb days, you could do 2 medium days, you could do 2 high carb days, something like that. But again, it all depends on your volume of training. That's the great thing about this sort of eating, is that it really depends on your activity level. The more active you are, then the more carbohydrates you have, right? So if you're not sure, then you can post questions in the group, and we'll go through it together. I'll try to figure it out with you. But it'll be much easier if you do the previous module, and then it should be like boom, boom, boom. You know exactly how much you eat once you figure out how much volume training you should be doing. Okay, so how does it work? So let's say now you know how many low carb days you're supposed to have, you know how many medium carb days and how many high carb. So what does it look like? So a low carb day would have 4 to 6 servings of protein. You'd have unlimited vegetables, like I mentioned. You'd have 3 servings of healthy fats and no carbohydrates, okay, or very little carbohydrates. And remember, you use your fist for the serving size. And here's a sample of what it could look like. Okay, you would divide it out 6 meals over 1 day. It'd be protein, fat, and greens, protein, fat, and greens, protein, greens, protein, protein, fat, and greens, and protein. Now, you don't have to follow this order. You could mix these meals up in any order. If you're not a 6 meal a person type of person, you could just do 3 straight meals for the day. You could do that. And you would just eat protein, fats, and greens, protein, fats, and greens, and then protein, fats, and greens, okay? And then maybe 1 snack off the side for just some protein. And that would be your low carb days, okay? So then on your medium carb days, what does that look like? Well, it's the same as the low, except for one difference, is now we can add in one fruit or one serving of starch. So that would be like earlier in the list, if you look at the list, you could choose from, you know, bananas, potatoes, whole grain pasta, whole grain rice, brown rice, yams, sweet potato. And then of course, the same thing. So, whoops, what happened? Oh, things moving around on me. So let's get back to medium carb there for a second. Okay, so here's a sample of what it would look like. We would have 6 meals, okay, and you would probably, you don't have to, but it would be nice to get your protein and starch and greens all in the morning, like have your starch in the morning. So then your body has all day to use it, okay, instead of at night. So meal 1 would be protein, starch, fruit and greens. And then meal 2 would be protein, fats, and greens, protein, fats, and greens, and protein. Okay, or if you're a 3-meal type of person, you could just do protein, fats, protein, starch, and greens, okay? And then protein, fat, and greens, and then another protein, fat, and greens, and then maybe a little bit of protein on the side. So just to recap, okay, just look at this. If you ever get confused, on your medium carb day, you're allowed to have 4 to 6 protein servings, unlimited veggies, 2 servings of fat, and 1 serving of starch. You could basically mix and match this, like this amount, you can put it in any order throughout the day. Okay, the only general rule of thumb is maybe don't mix your fat and your starches together. So either mix a protein and a fat or a protein and a starch together, okay, on that day. It's better, but it's not 100% necessary if you can't. Sometimes it's hard to, you know, keep the order like you always want it. So, and then how does your high carb day look? Well, it would just be the same as the previous, except now you have 2 servings of starch or fruit, okay? And you can mix it up however you like. Here's an example, 6 meals a day. You got your protein, your starch, and your fruit, and your greens. Protein, fat, greens, protein, starch, fruit, and greens, protein, fat, greens, protein. And again, you don't need to have 6 meals a day. You could just do 3 meals a day. And but as long as you're getting similar of what this outline is right here, okay? Remember, these hard carb days, remember you're doing a boot camp workout and a 1 hour of steady state cardio. So that's why you can have all these calories, okay? And so the more activity you have, the more calories you can have. Less activity, the less calories, okay? Now, this is just a recap here. Low carb cycling, okay? That just gives exactly what I just mentioned, okay? And then your medium carb cycle would be, this is just on the activity. So low carb, you work out or you rest. Medium carb, you work out and you do some HIIT. High carb, you do a boot camp and an hour of cardio. Okay, so that's just a recap. So hopefully that makes sense, okay? And I will upload this PDF for you so you have an example of it. Let me know if you're gonna try this. I'm just curious, put in the comments that you're gonna try this and let me know how it goes for you. This is a great, if you're like in plateauing or you're not really, you're not a big calorie counter type person, this makes it really easy and straightforward. And I find it works really effective with a lot of people because they just get to use their fist. They don't have to count calories. It's just like bang, bang, bang. And it can be used for anybody. So it will help you. And now, guys, just keep in mind, I got some big news coming up. I got something exciting coming up for you guys in January where you can win money. So you can get fit for money. There's going to be a couple grand prizes. There'll be 2 types of contests. There'll be a fat loss contest where you can win money, and there'll be a most fit contest where you can win money. And depending on what your goals are, you can do either contest. And as more people sign up, the pot grows. So I think I'm going to start the pot off at $1,000 prize. And then as more people sign up, the pot gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's going to start in January. So that's all the details I'm going to give about that for now, but keep your eyes open for that. Okay, I will be opening up a chance to sign up for that soon. Anyways, have a super day, guys, and I will see you on next week.